Hello and welcome back to the Film Club, the club where we talk about films that we've been recently watching, viewing and enjoying them, and what you've been recently watching and enjoying, and if you've seen what I'm about to talk about, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. I absolutely love the first Inside Out film. Am I the target audience for it? Absolutely not, but I love pretty much anything Pixar. It's just warm, brilliant films, brilliant animation, lovely storytelling, and Inside Out 2 was no exception. When I heard that they were doing an Inside Out 2, I was really curious. I've seen some jokes online when the first one came out about what the second one would be, you know, she's going into the teenage years and what would they cover? And honestly, I think they dealt brilliantly with what they did cover. The sort of transitioning age of 13, you know, the hormones of anger and just everything starts kicking in, and they did it in a brilliant way where it just told an absolutely amazing coming of age story, and a coming of age story that I don't think has ever been told in this certain way. I think they did things in Inside Out 2 brilliantly that they perhaps missed out on Inside Out 1. Do I think Inside Out 2 is better than the first? No. For the pure reason of the story is very similar in the sense of it's Joy getting kicked off the main platform and everything going wrong and her trying to get back. It is essentially the exact same story, just told with a few extra steps and different emotions involved, but for the most part it is the same. So for that reason I didn't necessarily prefer the second Inside Out to the first one. I do think one thing that Inside Out 2 lacked was the emotional hits. I could see where they were trying to get the sort of emotional jabs and the deep moments and stuff like that, but for me, it just didn't resonate as much as the first one did. I thought the first one came very naturally, whereas this one I just sort of, it just felt not necessarily forced, but it felt as if it was building up to these moments that are supposed to make you cry. And there are some brilliant one-lines. The line about maybe you just don't feel as much joy when you get older, maybe that's just how life is. Stuff like that does hit deep, but it doesn't necessarily hit deep enough to create, it doesn't make me cry or anything like that. The anxiety attack at the end, it's good, and it's brilliant to show that sort of side of mental health and emotion and stuff that's not really necessarily shown in a kid's film, definitely not. But it doesn't hit in a certain deep way, I don't think, as at least not as much as the first one did. One thing I think they got really right with Inside Out 2 is how much they showed Riley. I think in the first one it was very focused on everything inside her head and just what was going on, and actually this one very much focused sort of 50-50. It was showing what the effects of the people inside her brain and what they were doing, how that was affecting the outside world. Did I think that they could have done something a little bit different than the hockey? Maybe. I think it's quite a niche reference point. I think I would have rather seen something relating to the parents or even just seeing the parents a little bit more. I think they're a brilliant sort of addition, but at the same time it makes sense for the story and sort of the coming of age and falling out with friends and stuff like that. So I get it, but I would have liked to see something a little bit more with the parents, maybe less focused on the hockey stuff. But like I say, I get it, and the hockey scenes were really good. The way that they were animated, I can't complain. They were really cool. Just absolutely cleanly animated. Speaking of the animation of Inside Out 2, it was just like the detail on these are insane. I loved looking at sort of the jumpers of people, and you can see the fuzz, and it's just the bubbliness on the red skin of anger, the emotion, just little things like that. I was just like, whoa, the lighting and just honestly, the animation cannot be faulted for these films, and I love that they get creative with it when they see the video game character that is essentially supposed to be like Zelda. That is brilliant. Just seeing a pixelated, differently framed character coming into this animation world, and then as well having the Dora the Explorer type character. I can't remember his name, but that being a completely different animation. I thought it was really well done. It was just well made. I enjoyed just seeing these different styles sort of clash together. I think is just funny and brilliant. That is one thing that Inside Out 2 does brilliantly. The comedy. This film is brilliantly Pixar inside and out. The comedy hits in number 2 so much more, I think, than in the first film. I think there was a lot more characters to go off and bounce off, so there was a lot more opportunity for the comedy to just really shine through, but it really did. There was not a missed beat. There was no jokes that fell flat, and it also just had that little catering for all audience sense. You know, when they're in the car going to the camp and the dad's like, big weekend for me and mum then, and winking. It's just little stuff like that. I love Pixar for that. It's brilliant, and like I say, this film is absolutely Pixar through and through. You can't beat them. I really, honestly, I love Pixar. I love other studios of animation, DreamWorks and stuff like that, but Pixar will always just have an absolutely brilliant and warm place in my heart where their films just always hit. But anyway, let me know, what did you think of Inside Out 2 if you've seen it, and I'll see you next time on The Film Club.